Dota 2 League. My name is Whiplash, broadcasting on site at the Nexon studio in Seoul, Korea. We currently are in the second match out of the best of three between Five and Q and their opponents MVP Phoenix, Demon MVP Dendi Navi. I love Alliance, says the sign. It looks like they're giving out some free snacks at the studio, from what I can see. So if you live in Seoul, Korea and are listening to this broadcast, you're more than free to come by the studio. Entrance is free, but it looks like we're already moving into match 2, set 2 of the day from the Korean Dota 2 League. This is Tier 1, the Codas of Dota in Korea. Let's go ahead and get into the pick ban phase. MVP Phoenix currently leading 1-0 over 5 and Q. And if you guys missed the first match as well, before MVP Phoenix and 5 and Q played, we did have Nemesis against Monkey's Spanner, where Nemesis did a very efficient push strategy and completely toppled Monkey's defenses before they could muster enough time to move into the late game. So it looks like Slarks managed to slip through the cracks, and he is going to be the first pick for MVP Phoenix. Gotta say, I love that hero. He's valued very high on the Korean server. Almost always gets picked or banned. And for the heroes that have been removed from the match, Denver Sutton and Boker, two heroes we did see, I believe, in the first match, are not going to be part of the equation. And the Marana Nyx getting banned out once again. So we're starting to see some consistent bans from these teams. What heroes like to be picked, what heroes like to be banned out a lot. Visage remaining a very popular support, as well as the Crystal Maiden, but they won't be tag teaming this game. They'll be bitter enemies. And the Nature's Prophet is the first pick for 5 and Q. And although the second pick is the Crystal Maiden, could we see a push strat reminiscent of Nemesis's lineup in the first match of the day? It's something to keep an eye out on. It's like there's March communicating with his team. He was on the Tiny in match number 1. Pakte 1 did a very good job on that hero. Carried that team on his back like a boss. And the third ban out for Phoenix, it's going to be the Ancient Apparition, a hero that we've been seeing getting utilized in different ways a lot more recently. Especially in the international scene. Haven't seen him really picked yet in the Korean scene that much. More of a rare hero. And a Luna ban for 5 and Q. Looks like the ban didn't work out, or the Luna didn't work out that well for 5 and Q in game number 1, but they don't want Phoenix to get their hands on the Luna in game number 2. And as far as the current score goes, it's a best of 3 between both teams. MVP is up 1-0. For those of you recently tuning in, my name is Whiplash. I'm broadcasting at the Nexon Arena. It's kind of like a piggyback broadcast on the Korean stream. But thank you all for tuning in. Please, if you want to give me some feedback on my broadcasting, I know I'm at this alone, and I'm still a little bit relatively new to the Dota scene, originally from a StarCraft 2 background. But if you have any criticism for me, you can just go ahead, post it on Team Liquid, Reddit. You can even tweet at me at Whiplash, and I'll be more than happy to read it and try to do my best to improve. I'm also going to do the best that I can to bring out some analysis co-commentators in the future KDL matches. Maybe I can grab some of these pro gamers when they're on their off days, and they can do some guest broadcasting with me in the future, but at least for now, it's just going to be me flying solo, casting the Korean Dota 2 League, MVP Phoenix, and 5&Q. And so the next pair of bans is going to be the Outworld Devour and the Rubik. I would like to see a Doom pickup from 5&Q. They could run a mid lane. Nature's Prophet still can end up in the off lane. We did see him get played in the mid in the first match between a Nemesis and Monkey Spanner. 5&Q just, it looks like they really like to take their time with the picks. And ooh, a Storm Spirit pickup. And the Lifestealer is going to be the response from Phoenix. Storm Spirit, still a pretty good hero against Lifestealer. You can always zip zap away, can quickly move in and kind of disable him when he first comes around. Still waiting on the fourth pick for 5&Q. We'll be handling the Radiant side this time around. They are down 0-1 against MVP, so it's do or die for them. Each victory ensures more money for the winning team, so every match really does count. It's KSH, 5&Q. There is Heen from MVP. I got to say hi to him in between the matches, but that's about it before they scurried him back into the playing booth. And a Sand King as the fourth pickup, and rounding out the supports for 5&Q. Sand King becoming quite popular as a support recently. His ability to jungle and gain levels and farm earlier in the game certainly has helped that out. Phoenix looking for their fourth pickup. There's FX, Choi Jung-sop. I believe his last pick was the Shadow Demon. All right, MVP Phoenix grabbing the puck as their fourth pickup. So it's going to be puck in the mid lane, most likely versus the Storm Spirit. I'm assuming that's going to be an off-lane Slark with the Lifestealer pickup. Although they could technically switch those around, but I don't see it happening. That means Phoenix just needs one more support to round up their lineup. And 5&Q looks like they could certainly use a carry to finish up what they want to do. Probably we'll see the Nature's Prophet in the off lane with the Crystal Maiden and Sand King providing support to the final core carry. And the Gyrocopter pickup as the last hero for 5&Q. There's Ryzen from MVP, played the IO last game. Held hands with Rock for pretty much the entire game. Well, they still managed to win, so I guess that's what matters. And the last bans are going to be the Naga Siren as well as the Shadow Demon. And Phoenix finishing up their support with the Alchemist. So the heroes have been picked. Quick shot of Thor before we move into the game. Lee Sung-dong. And Kyo is just... he likes biting his fingers whenever the camera's on him, apparently. I didn't have an amazing game on the Luna in match one. It seemed like a bit of an unorthodox mid lane with the Visage and Luna in the mid, but at the end of the day, it just did not end up working out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Time for match number 2 between MVPs Phoenix and the opposition 5NQ. We're gonna have one last final shot of the players. A little pan between both teams. Let's go ahead and get into the match. KDL, MVP, 5NQ. My name is Whiplash, broadcasting from the Nexon studio in Seoul, Korea. Let's do this. And we are moving into the game. QO on the gyrocopter. This is, of course, match 2, set 2, tier 1 from the Korean Dota 2 League. You know the teams, 5NQ, MVP, Phoenix. It's like Ryzen is going to be playing the Visage. FX as Crystal Maiden. Dabu on the support Alchemist. And this is a pretty big invade from MVP. They did this, I believe, last game. Or no, 5NQ did this last game, so a lot of similarities here. If any of 5NQ gets a little bit out of position, this could end up being a quick first blood. It's like Sagan will be on the Sand King. A very offensive warding from MVP. They don't want that Nature's Prophet to be doing any farming if possible in the early game, but of course he's already heading himself to the offlane. And March going to be playing that position 1 Lifestealer for Ev. He's going to go ahead and grab that. Oh, nice! He gets the lash! And you know what? Cynical is actually in a lot of trouble. Another hit or two, and he could end up falling, but there's no speed on that Slark. And the jump pull down a little bit too high, but that's already a terrible position for the Nature's Prophet to be in. He doesn't have level 2 for the teleport, and he also doesn't have any regeneration, so already forced back to base. That was a pretty nice jump from Forev. And this also gives him a little bit of free farm early in the match. And if an offlane Slark gets a favorable matchup, which I would say against the Nature's Prophet, certainly not the end of the world. We're going to see him make a lot of plays later on in the game. And it's going to be KSH from 5NQ versus Heen in the mid lane. The mid heroes just dueling it out. Heen being quite aggressive as well. And it's going to be a tri-lane versus tri-lane. Phoenix definitely favoring the offensive tri-lane. I do have the Alchemist for the stun, and the follow-up nuke and slow from Visage as well. It can be very deadly. Wow. Nature's Prophet forced back a second time to the well, and at the same time, QO, the stun's gonna hit him. March is going to go to town on him. We still have Rocket Barrage available, and that's gonna scare away March for the time being. FX, they managed to get a little bit of a freeze on Dabu, but surprisingly, no deaths on either side. 5NQ sustaining a little bit more damage over their opposition. And the Chilling Touch, the duration ends. Gyrocopter still level 1. As Cynical does TP back to the top lane, but he's still level 1. I believe Slark already leading the kill deny board, 12-5. I couldn't really think of a worse start for 5NQ, save an early Roshan kill from MVP Phoenix. And let's not forget that Phoenix also has a little bit of momentum helping them as well with that first game victory. So Slark just making a splash in top lane, having a lot of fun. Looks like Heen will grab the regeneration rune. And he's gonna move back towards top. Looks like he's gonna also pick up a bottle as well. There he goes. March in a little bit of trouble. The Rocket Barrage doing a lot of damage. Down he goes. First blood, the Seigun. So despite a terrible first start for PHOENIX, they do manage to secure the first blood, which will certainly help even out the disaster that's the top lane for PHOENIX. I also want to note no rage for the Lifestealer. That could have been the difference between life and death for him. He's playing very aggressively. He has decided to pick up a wand and some boots, has a stout shield to his name. Not a Ring of Aquila, but we're potentially working towards that with a Gyrocopter. Just doing a little bit of pulling. Sand King's managed to pick up an invisibility rune, which is going to be nice. Will kind of deny Puck from getting that. Alchemist. He has a smoke in his inventory. And Seigun. This could get really nasty for MVP. There's no invisibility wards to show where Sand King's at. And if the Crystal Maiden gets the freeze, the quick follow-up stun, and then Rocket Barrage, that's an almost guaranteed kill. March, he is level 3. He does have his rage. The stun's good, though. And, in comes Cynical. He gets slowed, but, nice. Instantly eats a tree. March will survive. In comes Forab, gets the lash. Won't be enough, though, to pick off Cynical. Forcing a Shadow Dance. Cynical, one hit left. What a juke! What a juke! But it's not enough. He manages to get killed from the creeps. March is back into the fray, but here comes the stun follow-up with the juke. March forced to use the rage lash onto Seigun. And now he's invisible with the Sandstorm. That certainly saved his life, but Forab, according to the bottom lane, definitely made sure that the situation did not turn up any worse than it already was for MVP. And above, we're moving towards the bot. There's, he gets that's dead Sand King. Nothing that can be done there. Sandstorm at level 1, unfortunately, does not last for a million years. It simply lasts for about 100. Looks like KSH forced back to the main base for the time being. This will be able to fill up on those bottle charges. And the phase boots pick up for the Lifestealer. This is not a game for him to get the Midas. He would need a little bit more farm, I think, to make things work. Only picked up 28 last hits, 6 minutes in, which I suppose isn't that bad. Actually pretty decent, but there's just a lot of action happening in this bottom lane. Forev went for a very aggressive jump. Cynical trying to trap his opponent in the trees. He's gonna get out of there just in time. But still, that's forcing Nature's Prophet back. Slark's continuing to get bigger and bigger. And he may actually become more dangerous than the Lifestealer later on in this game with the way things are going. A little bit of aggressive warding from PHOENIX as well. Looking for an opening, but it's almost like a Mexican standoff on both ends. In comes Puck. But nothing happens. KSH is just going to get a little bit of free farm in the mid lane. Yeah, Cynical's just decided to move to the jungle. He is incredibly far behind. He's gotten almost nothing this game. You know, Forev's end of the 40 creep kills, 7.5 minutes into the match. 3-2, PHOENIX slightly leading over MVP PHOENIX. Still anyone's match. Gyrocopter grabbing the phase boots. In comes the Storm Spirit. Quick rage, though, not going to make anything happen. Taboo just chilling in the corner. He's in timeout for stunning himself, but in comes KSH. Sand King follow-up as well. The damage is good, and down goes Visage. But Phoenix, they're able to get a gyrocopter that just kind of glitched all over the place after its death. Definitely a favorable trade for MVP. Whenever you can kill off the support and get a carry, you're always going to end up happy. And FX, ooh, actually just a little bit too out of position, and 4F secures the kill, but oh, that's a lot of DPS that he's sustaining. Forced to use the Sal. Barely survives, but can Cynical get revenge on 4F? What is that? What is that? What did he just do there? That was a guaranteed kill. Are the nerves getting the Cynical? I think so. I think that was a miniature breakdown we just saw on stream from Cynical. I don't think that Slug should have not survived there at all, but he ended up surviving. He could have just auto-attacked for the kill, but man, the nerves getting Cynical. Out comes the sun on 5 and Q. Now silence follow-up from Heen. A little bit of a miss though. In comes KSH. And Puck, he's gonna be found. And down goes Heen. So 5 and Q still leading 6-4. 4F running away. KSH is the guy to look out for. 5 and Q's end. He can just jump in, ball lightning, grab somebody. In comes Sand King with the follow-up, and then additional CC from the remaining cast. But the Storm Spirit seems to be the one that's going to be setting up a lot of this. Oh, does he get the jump? The camera needs to move down there. Okay, we do manage to see it. Oh, 4F, the epicenter, it's enough. Down goes Slark, and Reason could end up being next. Very nice moves from 5 and Q. MVP, things are just not going the way that they looked like they would be earlier on. And Duble almost dying to the double damage Crystal Maiden. KSH, though, doesn't have too many less. It's up to 34, but you kind of want to snowball with Storm Spirit. He at least has 1 kill, 2 assists to his name. Sand King is the one that's really seen the top of the charts for the time being on 5 and Q. He's been a part of basically every kill. And picked up a Blink Dagger as well, 11 minutes in. That's some Bat Rider Blink Dagger timing. Ryan Keen trying to harass KSH ever so slightly. And March looks like he's gonna get this tier 1 tower. Actually moving forward, infests into one of these creeps. With Segun TPing in, I think that was the wisest decision. Oh, he's gonna go ahead and Rage, get the tower, TP out. What a play from March. Very nice moves. I think March also has some of the most unique glasses in Korea. If you ever get a chance to look at him, hold that thought though. KSH moves forward. Easy kill along with the Sand King helping out. Heen falling once again. We're gonna need to see some BKBs on Phoenix's end, or they're just not gonna survive this stunning and CCing onslaught. Slark with the haste rune. He's going the TP towards the top, but oh, Segun, man. This guy is everywhere, just ruining MVP's day. And there's the gold graph between 5 and Q and MVP Phoenix. Phoenix slightly leading, but still anyone's game. Oh, Gyrocopter doing a little bit of damage, but it's not enough. The combined forces of 4F and Ryzen are able to easily dispatch the old War Commander. And experience looking very even on both ends, 50-50. It's still really anyone's game. Dubu goes in with the stun on Segun. It would be nice for them to get a kill on the 5 and 1. Sand King, down he goes. And Raisin getting the kill. So the supports grow a little bit richer. I believe this is also going to be a tier 1 tower death. 5 and Q, out of position, no fortification. down it goes. They could hope for at least a trade. There is no fortification available for Phoenix. Cynical's joined the fight. In comes March. He gets frozen. And Storm Spirit bottling up a little bit. Nature's Prophet Ultimate doing a bit of damage to the cast of MVP. I think the most they can hope for at this point is a deny. Can March manage to get it? In comes KSH trying to get the latch on March, but it's not enough. Forces the raid. Nice block, or dodge. Alchemist does not get the stun, but in comes latch from 4Ev. Can he finish off the rest of the heroes though? Dabu low on health. 5&Q in pursuit, but they actually don't manage to really kill anyone. QO stunned. This could be a death, but once again, Sagan tries to go in with the epicenter. He gets stunned by Dabu, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. But the gyrocopter ends up falling. Storm Spirit as well. And Cynical could be next. Down he falls to the nuke from the Visage. Crystal Maiden also died earlier, so at the end of the day, that's going to be a 4-for-1 MVP Phoenix. Right back into this match, evening up the score. 14.5 minutes into the game. And MVP, they could potentially go for the Tier 1 tower. Most of 5&Q, they're back. They're teleporting in. Gyrocopter has his ultimate. So they're just going to do the safe thing, back off. Handamitis for the Nature's Prophet, almost 15 minutes in. That's a I am behind and need to catch up in levels. Nature's Prophet. He is hurting on items. And Slark with the Shadow Amulet in his inventory. It looks like he wants the work into a Shadow Blade. So this is not a Corey style hard carry Slark where you go for the Lincolns, get the S&Y, and go for the Abyssal Blade. A little bit more of a gank-centric style. So a little bit of Ancient stacking. Dabu using his Acid Spray to deal with these units. That's composite damage. Pretty much goes through everything, even magic immunity. A bit of a pick-off. MVP Phoenix losing the puck. Hina's just not having an amazing game. He has died quite a few times. QO though, he doesn't have a BKB yet. He only has a Helm of the Dominator. So quite poor in that department as well. Lifesteal leading the last hit score with 90. So he is looking pretty darn solid for kills. Also picked up his drums recently and has a Helm, so he could eventually move into an Armlet should he desire. KSH just getting a little bit more farm in the top lane, being annoying. Ancient stacks on both ends. Gyrocopter going to try to catch up. Gold advantage still favoring MVP Phoenix, 55 to 45. And this Tier 1 tower in the top end for MVP is getting quite low. We're going to have to keep a close eye on that if they want to try to ensure the deny. And it's only about a 4,000 gold differential between both teams, so I mean, essentially, it is still a very even match. Anyone's game. And the Shadow Blade picked up for the Slark. Alchemist working on what looks to be a mechanism. And Orchid for the Storm Spirit. Get a little bit of silence action happening on MVP's, or excuse me, 5&Q's side. 4Ev, oh, in comes the latch. KSH, he is falling very fast, but 4Ev, he may have been a little bit over-eager here. And the invisibility rune, he's able to hit KSH while he's invisible, but it doesn't matter. In comes Sand King with the Burrow Strike, trying to follow this up with the epicenter. Reason most likely going to end up falling. KSH, Ball Lightnings down the center, and he'll get the kill, but he's gonna have to run away from 4Ev. Low on mana. Sega, nice Burrow Strike away, but March in hot pursuit. 5NQ running away on all ends, but it looks like they will live to tell the tale and fight another day. Cynical, though, he's got a medium-sized Treant army moving towards the bottom lane. For in hot pursuit, he has the Shadow Blade available. He could move in there and try the latch onto somebody. And there he is, moving on Cynical. Is the DPS good enough? Yes, it is. They do manage to get the kill. KSH manages to teleport out in time. Unfortunately, Cynical, please disband. It's not your day. Oh, Segun wanted the Burrow Strike. Would have probably gotten the kill had he gotten the stun off. So 5NQ. It seems like, although it's still relatively even, I feel like MVP PHOENIX, when it comes to these later team fights, it's going to be hard for 5NQ to kind of deal with them once the BKBs come online. And I mean, they already have a core lifestealer that doesn't even need a BKB. And the spell damage that 5NQ is really just relying on so much at this point will become less effective. Yes, the Gyrocopter will be able to dish out a lot more physical damage. But PHOENIX, they have a lot of ways of getting health back. They have some tanky frontliners. Alchemist, the tankiest support pretty much in the game. But at least 5NQ can find some solace in killing off the top tower, as that goes down without any contestation. And this also means that Storm Spirit's going to pick up his Orchid. Interesting fortification for 5NQ. I don't think that actually served any purpose. May have been a fat finger on Cynical's end. I'm just going to go ahead and make fun of him for that one. So as we have a little bit of a lull in the action, this is 5NQ versus MVP PHOENIX. Currently, PHOENIX are leading 1-0 over 5NQ. The score 11-12. 5NQ slightly leading at 20 minutes, 38 seconds into the match. It's just going to come down to these team fights, I feel. But when the late game comes around, MVP, they do look like the scarier team, especially with how stunted Nature's Prophet's growth has been throughout the match. And we have a attempted smoke gank from 5NQ, or MVP PHOENIX. Lifestealer inside the Slark. They're going for the Life Bomb. Next Bomb. Treant spots them. Cynical. He says, oh, I gotta get out of here. I don't want to die yet again. So Lifestealer's still deciding to just stay snug inside of Slark's body for the time being. Heen's at least got his Blink Dagger. He is 2-5, not the best score for the midder. But 5NQ have been able to get some good gank attempts on him. Surprisingly, Slark with more assists than kills, 2-1-7. And the Gyrocopter actually looks like he is leading the gold graph from the look of things. MVP PHOENIX, you can tell they really want to continue doing some ganks. But 5NQ, they've wisened up slightly and decided to kind of just reel it back a little bit. Say, all right, we kind of need to play catch up a little bit here, even though it looks relatively even. They don't want to get anyone picked up. MVP, it seems like they're the more dangerous team at this point. All right, Puck Lifestealer Bomb. Moving back to the tier 2 tower in the top lane. Unfortunately, they kind of TP'd far away from the action. No one's going to be over there. Well, 5NQ's going to be revealed. Gets rid of the ward, though, in the bottom end of the river. So Gyrocopters managed to pick up a Black King bar. Gonna give him a nice amount of survivability and magic immunity when it comes to these team fights, but he still doesn't have too much damage items. Certainly, though, the BKB and the phase boots do help him out a lot. Those phase boots do really give a lot of damage early on in the game. MVP, are they looking to do Roshan? No, they're not. Just looked like it. They're going after Cynical once again. Man, MVP, they really do not like Nature's Prophet. I gotta say, he has not had a huge impact this game, and KSH TPing out of there immediately. I love when they do the town portal trick where they ball lightning and then TP immediately. While in the ball lightning, you actually can use items, and they won't be interrupted even though you're moving. Just a little fun fact for you guys out there. The Sand King hasn't earned mana boots and a blink dagger. Hasn't decided to work on either like a Veil or a Black King bar or maybe an Agnum Scepter. Hey, we're actually seeing the traditional golden experience graph. They've been showing kind of their own in-house KDL custom graphs on the Korean stream. So a little surprising to see the stamina ones pop up. Well, Nature's Prophet has managed to pick up his Shadow Blade. A little sigh of relief for the New Zealand Korean player. And yeah, unfortunately, not too much action from either end. It's reminding me of Rice Dota from the Chinese scene a few years back. A very casual Dota watcher back then, but I still kind of knew what was going on. I knew the Chinese players love to farm, and they love their rice. I swear that's not a stereotypical or racist joke. Okay, so Nature's Prophet's picked up level 1 of the Necrominion. So at least he's starting to get a little bit more farm, despite the pretty poor early game start. Duo dodging the orb, kinda. Takes a little bit of creep damage, but just eating up those creeps. Using that flat cannon. But now the question is, who's going to make the first move? Neither team really wants to go for Roshan either. Nice little pickup, getting that invisibility rune. Lifestealer has picked up his Skull Basher. So that's going to be nice for him to have. And eventually I assume he will build, of course, combining that with the Sacred Relic. Get that guaranteed stun in. EXP-wise, I believe that's EXP. 5MQ is slightly ahead of Phoenix. It's actually a gold rate, not EXP rate, after 10 minutes. Okay, a little bit of a smoke coming in from MVP. Haste on the puck. Everyone's running away. If they decide to do a bit of a loop-de-loop, a turnaround. MVP, they want to catch somebody so bad, but it's like 5MQ have the map hacks. Never mind, they're going to go on Segun. Down he goes. That was brutal to watch. FX could be next, but Forev, he does have the BKB. Down goes one support. March, though, extremely low on health. He's going to end up falling. Keen may end up dying as well, but Forev is going to town, trying to do the damage he can. The QO. I believe there's a buyback from the Sand King, but what can he really do to help out his teammates? Oh, can he get Forev? There's a jump away, but he needs to get out of line of sight. He needs to get a little bit of regeneration. Forces the Shadow Blade. Heen, will he fall? Yes, indeed he does, but KSH, he's out of mana. He's gonna pay with his life. In comes the Epicenter. Sand King dishing back the damage back on the Slark. All in all, That's a 4-for-4 trade, including the Sand King buyback. So despite a great initiation from Phoenix, it's still a very, very even game. 16-16, 28 minutes into the match, with no side showing any signs of weakness or wanting to give up. Well, I suppose the longer the match goes on, the longer Nature's Prophet has to catch up and get some more items to assist his team, build up that Necrominion to level 3. FX just doing a little bit of dewarding. Pretty poor Crystal Maiden. Just has those Tranquil Boots. And QO picking up the Demon Edge, still has no points in his Rocket Stun. Generally, we do see people get at least 1 point in that. Also, Alchemist has managed to grab a Vladimir's Offering. It's going to give some extra lifesteal to the Slark himself, and of course, the Lifestealer. And a little bit of extra armor, other random stats. And overall, Vlad's wonderful item if you have a few melee heroes on your team that aren't necessarily picking up life-stealing items. Cynical moving towards the bot. Ooh. Attempted lifesteal bomb. Unsuccessful, however. We just haven't seen the ganks go too well for MVP Phoenix unless they involve Forev. They really do need some more guaranteed stuns, I feel. The Alchemist stun, it's good when it hits, but quite useless when it doesn't. They don't have something like a Sand King or Crystal Maiden on their end. Segun, and he comes for the stun. Oh, and with KSH following up, down goes Forev. Even wasting the epicenter, they really want to make sure that Slog does not get any bigger than he already is. 5 and Cube moving down the center lane. They could go for the tier 2 tower. An acid spray from Alchemist trying to deter 5 and Q ever so slightly. It looks like they still want to go. Oh, blinking and sand striking into the illusion of Heen. KSH doesn't have a huge amount of mana left, but still enough for a few spells. Dubu unfortunately stunning himself. He actually has a decent amount of farm for a support Alchemist. And Cynical continuing to do a little bit of split pushing. He does have that Necrominion 3 recipe, just chilling in his stash. So he'll be able to pick that up next time he heads on home to the well. And no deny from MVP. 5 EQ getting that tower. And looks like they may actually get the top tower as well. Cynical deciding to move towards the bottom lane though to help push that out. Storm Spirit looking for someone to potentially grab out of position. Heen completely missing the silence there. Storm Spirit trying to go on Heen. In comes the Gyrocopter ultimate as well. Down goes the puck. Alchemist low on health. He falls. Next, this is not looking good for MVP Phoenix, but Lifestealer and Forev, they're going to town. Gyrocopter, not long for this world. He's gonna end up falling. 4 for 2, but both carries end up falling on 5 and Q. Sand King falls. FX manages to escape. But Cynical going to continue pushing the bottom lane. Will we see TP responses? Yes, we will. Lifestealer, in he comes. Low on health, but doesn't even care. Unfortunately, doesn't get that siege creep. Lifestealer, he actually very close to the Sacred Relic. He may save up for a buyback before upgrading that Basher, but the option is the choose. So overall, last engagement,
더블 데미지.
not that bad for MVP. It started off bad when they lost the puck, and Alchemist, I'm not actually 100% sure if he died or not, but he got very low. But then all of a sudden, 5 and Q, the Gyrocopter dropped, the Storm Spirit dropped, they lost Sand King. Oh, Forev is moving in on QO though, using the BKB, and he still has his ultimate available, which he's going to use. A little bit of jukes. Isn't enough time to buy one more hit, but it's not enough. Forev, he's gonna pay for this with his life. The jukes, the Korean jukes. QO stays alive, and that's a 2 for 0. Very, very well played by QO. You can tell Reason is not happy with that trade. This could actually mean a tier 1 tower and maybe even a barracks is on the plate for 5 and Q to eat up. Hino, the Life Stealer bomb. They're ready for it. In comes the silence, out comes March, looking for someone to kill. FX falls very fast, and Cynical, they get the stun on him. Down he goes, 2 for 0 trade. These teams just back and forth, 22 to 21. KSH grabbing Regeneration Room. Also, notably, he does have a gem. March gonna start the work on Roshan. I think this is the time for MVP to go ahead and grab him. But there's some of 5 and Q nearby. They're gonna go on the Alchemist, I believe. As you can see, in the pitcher in a pitcher, he falls. That still leaves 3 against 4. Forev, though, he's actually gonna do a jump before running away. Can be seen, though, he needs the Shadow Walk. Oh my gosh, forces the Aegis. I don't think Forev realized that there is that invisibility detection from KSH, QO, and Forev activating their BKB wars. Forev, he bounces away, so close to dying. He will survive for the time being. Sagan looking for a stun, not gonna get it. Nice jukes from Ryzen, and Heen trying to go on the puck. Excuse me, puck going on the Crystal Maiden. Does get the kill. But Cynical, well, he's gonna actually get, no, the kill is taken away from him, but in comes Forev trying to do some damage. Cynical, out comes the Epicenter ult on Sagan's end, and it's just continuous back and forth action. The stun, though, it's good on Sagan. He tries to get a Burrow Strike out, but it's not enough. In they go on March. He'll end up falling. QO and Storm Spirit, they managed to get the kills. 27 to 24, 5 and Q. Looking like they're just ever so slightly getting the better trades, and each one of these engagements have been, my, are they close. And Slark, he was doing amazing early game, but he loves to be aggressive, and that aggressive is just, I think it's starting to really hurt him. He's just being over-aggressive. Speaking of over-aggressiveness, KSH going on the Boo. TP on QO. March, though, he's going to get the kill. And that's also going to be a gem available for 5 and Q. Slark can rest easy, knowing he can afford to be a little bit more offensive. That's actually the second gem picked up from Alchemist. So it looks like Phoenix already had 1 gem in their inventory space. And the Nature's Prophet picking up Silent Staff for his name. He's also managed to get a few kills in this game, so a bad early start, but really able to kind of rat his way into the mid and late game. Tier 1 tower, low on health, and oh, actually FX with the deny. Very nice. Oh, they're moving in onto Q. Oh, will he end up dying? Also, a lot of heroes there left, and down he goes. This is the engagement MVP was looking for. Forev tries to bounce onto the Sand King. He bounces away just in time. Davu, though, that's a buyback on QO, and he's gonna die. That makes it a tieback as he falls almost instantaneously. KSH, he's gonna have to get out of there. He's stunned for the time being. Just barely survives. MVP Phoenix, most likely going to be a mid tower for them. They wasted so many buybacks. QO really unhappy about that fight, forces the BKB on the Storm Spirit, and they go Sega, and he's going to end up falling. MVP with the turnaround. They're going to get the mid tower, and dare I say, they're going to move in for that tower, the tier 3, and maybe, just maybe, they'll get the racks afterward. 50 seconds on the Gyrocopter, 78 on the Sand King. There's just not enough DPS for 5 and Q to stop this, and Phoenix, they're ahead in kills, 28 to 31. They've got the mid racks. And Heen in a little bit of trouble. KSH though getting stunned, and Heen trying to be as aggressive as possible. He's going to back up though for the time being. Poor Ev. Man, he needs to take a chill pill. Does not know when to back off, heal up, and join up with his team. Well, I'd certainly say the past few minutes of almost non-stop action have made up for the rather lackluster mid-game. Ryzen working on his Agnum Scepter, and Haven's Halberd is now online for the Alchemist. He's been getting a good amount of farm. Slark as well, picking up his Sanj and Yasha. Great item on Slark. Really just complements him all around. Gives him a little bit more speed. That maim chance, always helpful. And just, you know, more stats that he needs. Cynical's got about a 1K gold in the bank. Doesn't have to worry about buyback, so looking to see what his next item could be. 5 and Q, they try to make these team fights work. Maybe they need a little bit more DPS, or maybe they need a little bit more lockdown. But for the time being, ooh, almost gets the familiar, or the Hasuin, if you want to have the Korean name for it. Sand King has an ultimate orb. Just getting a lot of extra stats across the board. And look at that, that's the power of Nature's Prophet, and Midas, he has just barely surpassed Lifestealer in net gold. So how about that? How about that? Good job, Cynical. Despite the bad early game, he's managed to catch up in the gold department, and more than catch up, top the charts. So I guess we can write off his early game as just a really bad start, which essentially it was, and just kind of snowballed. That also allowed the Slark to become more dangerous than usually, and in comes the life bomb. He died in, I think, about a second and a half. Not a fun day for Cynical, certainly. There we go. Down goes the final tier 2 tower, excuse me, the second tier 2 tower. There's still one left in the bottom lane for 5 and Q. MVP, it looks like they're just gonna go to town on the tier 3. There is a fortification available. In comes the Storm Spirit and Epicenter Sand King, following up with the Gyrocopter ultimate, but they're not really hitting too much of MVP. Down goes the Alchemist, but trades for 3-4 heroes. Buyback on the Storm Spirit. Down goes QO. I think that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing 5 and Q can do to follow this up. Team wipe. MVP gets it. GG is called. MVP 2-0s their opposition 5 and Q. And there's the win. MVP Phoenix proving that they are the superior team over 5 and Q and continuing the victory